From great stories to tales of intrigue, we present WCRS Radiostage. Please join us for this exercise of the imagination with radio drama. Today, a story by Michael Giorgio. That sound tells us there's only 15 seconds till curtain time. So get comfortable in your chair as we go to Studio X, and WCRS Radiostage presents the story, Havencroft's Secret.
Maybe we should go back to that last town, Paul. This rain's really coming down.
Well, it's more than an hour to go back there now, Di, and it'll be just as dark and rainy as here. Let's just keep on going. We've got to hit another town soon.
Oh, I hope so. I'm exhausted.
Why don't you take a quick nap, huh? I'll wake you up when I find a hotel.
I'll be okay. Paul, do you think we're doing the right thing? I mean, up and leaving the city like this?
Of course we are, Di. We've got to face facts. Old man Jeffries was never going to promote me when there were so many of us qualified. And the competition at the travel agency was too much for you. You said so yourself.
I know, but...
Di, if we're ever going to make a change, now's the time. Besides, if we ever want to start a family, is the city really where you'd want our child to grow up?
Of course not.
Well, then trust me. Things will look better when the storm clears.
I suppose.
Hey, why don't you get the map out of the glove compartment? Maybe we can figure out where we are.
Sure. Paul, slow down. There's a sign up ahead.
Maybe we're finally coming to a town. Can you read it?
Barely.
Oh, what's it say?
The Havencroft Merchants Association welcomes you to Havencroft, the country's best-kept secret.
Secret is right. I don't even remember seeing it on the map.
Well, the Merchants Association needs to repaint their sign. I couldn't even read all of it with this rain. Nope, not on the map. You suppose it's even big enough to have a motel?
Of course it does, Di. How else could the Havencroft's Merchants Association expect us to feel welcome in their best-kept secret?
Hopefully, the town will be nicer than that sign. Drive on, my good man. With luck, sleep awaits us shortly. This looks like a nicer place than I would have expected to find in a small town.
You never know what you're going to find, I guess.
I guess not. All this driving takes more out of a person than I thought. I am beat.
Well, then maybe we should stop sitting out here and go inside. Oh, at least the rain has stopped.
Thank goodness for that. You don't suppose the hotel's all full, do you?
I doubt it, Di. There's not another car in the lot.
This is a cute little place. It looks like the Havencroft Merchants Association knows how to make their guests comfortable.
That's right, young lady. We strive to make everyone comfortable here at Havencroft Inn. I'm Frank Clendenin, the owner.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Clendenin.
Oh, please, call me Frank. Folks in Havencroft don't stand on formality.
Okay, Frank. And we're the Jennings, Paul and Diane.
Do you have any rooms available for the night, Frank?
Sure do. How long are you folks going to be staying?
Just the night. We've got to be moving on in the morning.
I see. Well, what brings you to Havencroft? We're a little off the beaten path.
We're just passing through.
We're looking for a new place to live. We need to make a change.
If you're not in a rush, maybe you could stay in Havencroft for a little while. Give us a chance. It's a wonderful place to live, especially if you have a family.
Yeah, it's just us. For now.
Well, you won't find a better place to start a family than Havencroft, and that's a fact.
Yes, well, we're exploring a lot of options.
But we'll consider your suggestion, Frank. After all, we have to live somewhere.
That's the spirit. Well, here's your room key. It's number 7. It's just down that way.
Thank you.
We'll be serving breakfast in the morning from 6 till 10. See you then?
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Look like city people. What's their names?
Paul and Diane Jennings.
And what were they like?
She's nice enough. He's a little cautious.
Yeah, typical city people. Think they're going to stay?
Can't tell yet. She said they're looking for a change, though.
Well, we could sure use some new people around here.
Well, they got here, didn't they? That's a start. We'll just have to see that they want to stay.
Here's your breakfast, folks. Enjoy.
Thank you, Mrs. Clendenin.
Now.
Thank you, Elsie.
Oh, that's better. You enjoy. Just holler if you need anything else.
Seems like a nice woman.
Yeah, everyone here seems nice. Too nice. And too eager for us to stay.
Oh, you're just too suspicious, Paul. It's just small-town hospitality. And curiosity, I guess. They probably don't get much of a chance to make a newcomer feel welcome.
Well, we're not newcomers yet.
Of course not. I just meant...
Morning, folks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Jim Rawlins, mayor of Havencroft. Saw you two sitting over here and asked Clendenin about you, and he said you were figuring on maybe staying here in Havencroft, huh?
We don't know what we're going to do yet.
Well, why don't you look the town over and see if we can't charm you into staying? We'd like to welcome newcomers to Havencroft. It's a great little town.
Thank you, Mr. Rawlings.
Well, I might even be able to help you find work if you decide to stay. What's your line of work, Mr. Jennings?
I'm an architect.
An architect, eh? Well, a town can always use a good architect.
My old firm didn't seem to need me.
Well, now, Ben Schuyler's the only one we've got. And, well, he's getting up there in years. He doesn't work as fast as he used to.
I'm a travel agent, or at least I'm trying to be.
Well, Mrs. Jennings, I'll level with you. Folks here in Havencroft just, well, don't want to leave the place. It's that good a town to live in.
You sure are a salesman for the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Rawlings.
Merchants Association, we call it here, Mrs. Jennings. And, yes, I am.
Well, thank you for taking the time for us. We'll certainly think it over.
No trouble at all. Remember, Havencroft is more than just a small town. It's a state of mind. Listen, I'll let you two get back to your breakfast now. And hopefully I'll see you around town, huh?
Okay. Friendly sort of politician, would you say?
Yeah, and we're not even registered voters here.
So, what do you think? Should we look around Havencroft? I mean, give it a chance.
Oh, why not? It's not like we're heading anywhere special. After all, Havencroft's more than just a small town. It's a state of mind.
Paul, this town is wonderful.
It's like the perfect small town. Look at this street.
Main Street, of course.
Of course. And all the businesses, they seem busy.
Well, it is Saturday morning. People have time on their hands.
Yeah, but still, it seems like they'd be heading for the nearest mall.
Maybe the good people of Havencroft prefer the simpler things.
I guess. Look at this park. Not a blade of grass out of place. Not a bit of graffiti.
And a statue of somebody looking all stern and serious. Now, who do you suppose that is?
Let's see. The inscription says, Ezekiel Havencroft. Town father, it says.
And a bandstand! Oh, when was the last time you saw one of those?
Yeah, all that's missing is two old men playing checkers.
Oh, you're too cynical.
I'm telling you, Di, if Norman Rockwell was alive today, this is the place he'd be working in. Still, they've done a great job of preserving this town square.
I'll leave it to an architect to overlook the charm of the town in favor of the architecture.
And leave it to a travel agent to overlook the architecture in favor of the charm.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Jennings, well, a pleasure to meet up with you folks again. I was just talking about you here with Ben Schuyler.
Ben Schuyler? Oh, you're the architect Mr. Rawlings was telling me about.
That's right, son, and you're the young man that Jim here tells me is going to take my place.
now, Ben, I never said that. I only said that the Jennings were looking the town over.
And you didn't lead us astray, Mr. Rawlings. Havencroft is a charming town.
Well, so are you considering staying here?
It's a thought, but we really haven't discussed it yet.
Well, let me know if you folks decide to stay. I'm looking to sell my business outright and would give you a great deal on it.
Why are you looking to sell, Mr. Schuyler?
Yeah, because I'm 74 years old, that's why. I'm old and I'm tired.
Well, why not just retire?
Retire? Why, folks around here would never hear of it. People just come and bother me at home. I'm the only architect in Havencroft, you know. Until now, that is.
Well, couldn't people just go to another architect in another town?
Oh, not a chance, Mr. Jennings. People in Havencroft know Ben's work, and they trust him. They couldn't turn to an outsider who doesn't know this town.
But I'm an outsider.
Well, nonsense. If you buy Ben's office, folks will trust you just like they trust Ben if you decide to stay.
I'd give you a square deal on the business. I'm just looking to relax.
Well, I'd like some time to think it over and, of course, to discuss it with my wife.
I say it's up to you, Paul. I'm willing, and I know you want your own office. Havencroft is a wonderful place.
Now, I've learned it's best for a man to listen to his wife, Mr. Jennings. You don't have anything to lose.
Are you sure, Di?
I'm sure. And besides, I can tell it's what you want, too.
Okay, Mr. Schuyler. We'll discuss it.
Whatever you say, Mr. Jennings. I'm not in any rush.
Splendid! Let me be the first to welcome you to Havencroft, Mr. and Mrs. Jennings. Anyway, Mr. Jennings, that's the idea I had for the addition to the house. Is it practical?
Yeah, I think so. But it may be weeks before I can get to it, Mr. Rawlings. I've got a backlog of work here to keep me busy.
Unlike this side of the office, I opened my travel agency over a month ago and have yet to have my first customer.
Oh, Di, people just need time to find you. After all, this has been exclusively an architectural office for years.
Still, you would think somebody would have wanted to go somewhere by now.
Well, it's summer, Mrs. Jennings. People are spending their free time with their families in town, enjoying Havencroft and all its charms. Just let me know when you can get to my addition, Mr. Jennings. Mrs. Rawlings and I aren't in any rush. Afternoon, folks.
Enjoying Havencroft and all its charms. Surely at some point, someone must need to leave this wonderful town for some reason. I mean, a wedding, a funeral, maybe a vacation in a place a little more lively.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you the same woman who just a short month ago was extolling the virtues of Havencroft?
I know. It's just frustrating, Paul. You sit over there swamped with work, and I do nothing all day but read.
And I am. What kind of a pioneer woman are you, huh? Look at the statue of old Ezekiel Havencroft out there in the park. You think he'd have let a little slow business get him down? He wouldn't have given up, and he'd be disappointed in you for giving up.
Oh, what would he care? He's as dead as my business.
Don't worry. It takes time to get a new business going.
Well, then why are you so busy?
Because this isn't a new business. Ben Schuyler had a thriving office and worked at a pace best described as casual. But that's why I'm so busy. My business is going to level off soon, you'll see, probably just as yours starts to pick up.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what you need, Di?
A customer?
Besides that.
What?
A picnic.
Oh, a picnic, yeah. Summer sun getting to you, perhaps?
I'm serious, Di. You know, when we lived in the city and it started to get to be too much, remember, a picnic in the country, it always helped.
But, Paul, you're too busy.
No, I don't want to hear about it. Ben Schuyler let things go for months at a time. Surely I can let them go for one afternoon.
Still.
And we've lived in Havencroft for over a month now. We've never left a few blocks from the center of town. What with the house and work and all, we need to get away.
Paul, it's almost noon. It's a little late to go home, get food and things together, and get going.
Then I'll make a deal with you.
And what kind of a deal, then?
If the next person that walks through that door will help us put together a proper picnic, we go, okay? If not, I help you finish painting the basement when we get home.
Oh, you are crazy.
You're right, but I mean it. I just have a feeling we're going to go on a picnic today. There was a little look of mischief in old Ezekiel's eyes this morning when we went past him.
Oh, now you're taking betting tips from statues. You know what? I still say you're crazy. But you on.
Well, good afternoon, Elsie. Is that a picnic basket I might see under your arm?
Ezekiel, I do believe you've helped make a sucker out of me.
You say something to me, Diane?
No, Elsie, to Ezekiel Havencroft, actually.
Ezekiel Havencroft? Mrs. Jennings, Ezekiel Havencroft's been dead for over 100 years.
I know, Elsie. Just being silly, I suppose.
Well, a little silliness never hurt nobody, I suppose. Paul, I brought the things you asked for. Will you be needing anything else?
Hey, Elsie, do you remember one of your special apple pies?
Of course I did. Wouldn't be a proper picnic without one.
Oh, good. Well, then I'm sure everything's going to be perfect.
Well, I hope so. There's nothing like a picnic to lift one's spirits.
I don't know how Paul got you to go along with this little conspiracy, Elsie, but thank you.
Oh, sure. Anytime. You folks have a good time.
I figured we'd go out west of town, find a place along the river, and then,
Paul, may I make a suggestion?
Well, certainly.
You'd be better off going east.
Oh?
You could find plenty of lovely places out there between the orchards. Frank and I used to go out there quite often before we were married.
Well, I'm sure it's nice out there, Elsie, but I really wanted a picnic near the river.
Well, the same river that heads out west heads east, too. Plus, out west, you'd have to go by the factories. Not the most romantic setting, if you get my meaning.
Why, Elsie Clendenin, you romantic, you.
Well, we older folks still have some sparks left in us. Trust me, head east. Go to Shepherd's Field. Plenty of privacy.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks, Elsie.
Oh, good. You'll enjoy it, and you won't have to go far. Hey, stop by the cafe if I forgot anything.
I've got to admit it, Paul. Even though you tricked me into this was a great idea.
Well, the person who thought of it is a genius, if I do say so myself.
It is just what I needed. Hopefully, we'll find a good place soon.
You know, I'm beginning to think that Mrs. Clendenin is a little bit crazy. I mean, other than one little field back there, there's been nothing out here but trees.
We'll just have to keep looking. After all, Ezekiel Havencroft wouldn't have given up, would he?
Sure, throw my own words back at me.
I'm sure the perfect spot is just around this next bend.
Oh, great. This would have to happen out here in the middle of nowhere.
Well, try starting it again.
Okay, here goes.
I guess we should get out and take a look at it.
No, we came here to have a picnic, and a picnic is what we're going to have. You know what? We'll just push the car to the side of the road, walk up a little ways, and we'll have our picnic.
Oh, said in the true spirit of Ezekiel Havencroft. Let's go.
Well, maybe they won't go far enough out of town and it won't matter none.
Sure, Elsie, but what if they do?
Well, I tried to head them off. I hinted that Shepherd's Field would be the best place for their picnic.
Frank, Elsie, listen to me. The Jennings have been in town for about a month or so, right?
Right.
Well, it's inevitable that they'll find out sometime. They may as well know now. After all, we're all agreed that they've fit in nicely here.
Well, Mr. Jennings has, anyhow. Mrs. Jennings is still worried about her business.
Well, that's natural enough, but she does like the town, and that's what matters. The important thing is that you kept them from heading out west. They don't need to know anything about that until later.
Well, it sure was nice of Mrs. Clendenin to pack everything in this basket, huh? Makes it easier to carry. Hey, Di, slow down. Let me catch up.
You won't have to carry it far. Looks like there's a clearing just around this bend.
Di, honey, are you okay?
I'll be all right.
What made you fall like that?
I don't know. It was like I don't know, like I walked into an invisible wall.
You walked into an invisible wall? Look, Di, I know it's not feminine and ladylike to fall like you did, but to play with an invisible wall.
Paul Jennings, I am serious.
But Di, an invisible wall?
Well, if you don't believe me, you try it.
Oh, come on, this is silly.
I mean it. You see if you can get more than a few steps.
Okay, I'll humor you. What the?
See, I told you. It's like there's a barrier right there.
What do you suppose it is?
I don't know. Some sort of natural phenomenon, I guess.
But if this is here, and presumably the people in Havencroft know about it, why would Mrs. Clendenin send us out this way?
Maybe she's never been out this far.
Diane, Havencroft is a small town. Surely one person from town has come this way in the past 100 years or so.
But if Mrs. Clendenin suggested we come this way, well, she couldn't have known about this.
Either that, or there's something out west of town that they don't want us to know about. Let's see if we can get the car started again. We're going to go out west.
Well, come on in, Ben. How's the life of the retiree, huh?
Can't complain much, Jim, but that won't keep me from complaining, of course.
Well, your replacement seems to be doing well. Going to work on that addition of mine that you put off doing for me?
That replacement of mine nearly killed me a little bit ago.
What?
I was walking from the drugstore when he and Mrs. Jennings went racing down Main Street like a bat out of hell.
Oh, impossible. They headed to Shepherd's Field for a picnic. Are you sure it was them?
As sure as I'm standing in your doorway, went flying by like they had the devil himself on their tail, not more than an hour ago.
Then they must know.
How's that?
They know. They went out farther than Shepherd's Field. Which way were they headed?
West. We better stop them before...
Well, there's not a chance. I'm sure they're there by now. I wish we could have prepared them, though.
There doesn't seem to be anything sinister out here, Paul. Same trees, same river, same everything as the east side of town.
Except that we haven't hit an invisible wall.
Look, Paul, up ahead. A house. A house out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, who do you suppose lives way out here?
Who cares? We've got to figure out what's going on.
Paul, the name on the mailbox says Havencroft.
I thought there weren't any Havencrofts left.
So did I.
I wonder if this is what we're not supposed to know about. Diane, we got to find out if there's anybody in that house.
Yes?
Are you Mrs. Havencroft?
It's Miss Havencroft. If you found me, then you'll be needing some answers, so come on in. Please, call me Miss Dorothy. Everyone who visits calls me Dorothy. You're Paul and Diane Jennings, are you not?
How did you know?
I know all about you. I know about your architectural office, Paul, and I'm sure you've figured out by now why you have no business at your travel agency, Diane.
Why?
You mean you haven't found out about the secret yet?
Oh, you mean that strange force on the east side of town?
That strange force, as you call it, makes a circle around the town. It's what keeps the people of Havencroft in Havencroft.
But wouldn't it keep people out of Havencroft as well, Miss Dorothy? I mean, how could we get into town if we can't get out of it?
Only certain people can get into Havencroft, Mr. Jennings. People who are frustrated by the outside world. People looking for a change in their lives. It's a combination of the physical world and the mindset of the individual that grants them access into Havencroft.
Havencroft is more than just a small town. It's a state of mind.
Pardon me, dear?
Nothing. I was just remembering something that Mayor Rawlings said when we first got into town.
Is there any way out of town?
There is an opening in the barrier that surrounds the town.
Do you know where it's at?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, and why do you stay? I mean, why haven't you used the opening yourself?
When I was a child, I was an adventurous sort, curious about the rest of the world that I only saw in movies or heard about on the radio. My parents explained to me that we were different in Havencroft, was special, and that I should be grateful to live in such a perfect town.
Grateful.
As I grew up, I came to resent not being able to leave. But Now, of course, I accept that. As a Havencroft, I have to stay. It isn't so bad here.
So you're perfectly content to stay here?
Yes, perfectly content. Now.
Tell us, please, what do we have to do?
Well, it's simple, really. There's a path just up the road on the right. Take it, and you'll be back on the road you started on.
What keeps others from finding out about this?
Oh, no one ever comes out this way. Most people in town are happy with Havencroft and have no desire to leave. There are a few folks who know about it, but they don't use it.
Who knows about it?
Members of the Merchants Association, for one. The association really runs this town, you know.
Well, thank you, Miss Dorothy. Thanks for everything.
You're welcome. Now, be on your way. I know that trail will take you right where you belong.
Paul, do you think we're safe yet?
I don't know. I hope so. We've been driving quite a ways.
Oh, I still can't believe any of that was real.
Neither can I, Di. But it had to be. Didn't it?
I think so.
I wish we would have gone back for our things, though, because now we have nothing.
Oh, nothing but our freedom.
Well, that's true. At least we're free again.
And that horrible nightmare is over.
Hey, look at that. There's a sign up ahead. Let's see what it says.
The Havencroft Merchants Association welcomes you to Havencroft, the nation's best-kept secret. Dorothy Havencroft, Association President.
Today's program featured Joe Calley as Paul Jennings, Maureen Davis as Diane Jennings, Mel Hart as Jim Rawlings, David Crawford as Frank Clendenin, Lynn Zimmerman as Elsie Clendenin, Phyllis Bland as Miss Dorothy, and David Binkley as Ben Schuyler. Havencroft's Secret was written by Michael Giorgio. Original music was written and performed by David Crawford and Tom Holman. WCRS Radiostage is produced in Akron, Ohio by David Binkley and David Crawford. I'm Joe Calley asking you to join us the next time we open the curtain on WCRS Radiostage.